Hi there, Kodec. Hope life is treating you all perfectly. I got another build video for you guys today, and surprise, surprise, it's Werewolf Day. It's what everybody's playing at the moment, isn't it? And no wonder, it's crazy strong, very easy to play, u1bx, like no problem whatsoever. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the build. As always, let's have a look at the unbuffed stats. I'm a Nord. I really like this. It just gives you everything you want in PvP. Gives you health, gives you a lot of resistances, gives you max stam. On top of that, you gain 5 ultimate every 10 seconds while you take damage, which is very welcome. We run the Lady Mundustone to buff our resistances. We have all our attributes into health. We'll talk about that in a second. And as you can see, our health recovery is pretty darn high. Food-wise, I'm running Bewitched Sugar Skulls. Let's have a look at the buff stats, and keep in mind these stats are a little bit higher in Cyrodiil, but as you can see, they are pretty nuts. We have 39k health, which is fantastic, and we have 8,488 health recovery. On top of that, we have 35k spell and physical resistance. So you are crazy tanky on this setup. On top of that, you have all the healing you need, you have all the resources you need, as well as having 6,394 spell and weapon damage, and 24% spell and weapon crit. And pot-wise, I'm running the resistance pots. You don't really need tri-stats because your sustain is absolutely fantastic on this build. Let's have a look at the gear. As always, I'm running 4 medium, 2 heavy, 1 light. I'm running reinforced on the heavy pieces and impen on the rest. I'm running tri-stat enchantments on the gear. Jewelry, I'm running infused with weapon and spell damage enchantments. Front bar, I'm running double maces with double charged for those juicy status effects, with flame and disease damage enchantments. Back bar, I'm running an ice staff with defending and weapon and spell damage enchantments. As you can see, gear-wise, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Serpent's Disdain, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. It's so strong in today's meta. Because, I mean, status effects are so strong. So essentially what Serpent's does is that it just increases our pressure, which is really nice. I'm running a one-piece druid for the maximum health. And then I'm running Gore Thief, and it could be that I've been living under a rock, and I guess I kind of have because I'm a returning player. But Gore Thief was actually, believe it or not, a completely new set for me. Never heard of it before. And if I'm not mistaken, it got released last patch, right? And I was actually just randomly watching Fangrudge's stream when he was coming back, and they were kind of theory crafting on what to run on the Werewolf, and Gore Thief was mentioned, and I was checking it out, and it's absolutely fucking insane. It gives you a lot. When you roll dodge, it gives you a pretty decent heal, and the healing scales of your max health, which again is why we are putting all of our attributes into health. So again, you just have endless amounts of healing on this build. Another thing which is really nice, and one of the core issues of Werewolf, is that you are very single target heavy, and Gore Thief basically gives you a pretty decent AoE bleed burst when you bash when you have 10 stacks. So this thing definitely really hurts. So yeah, it was a completely new set for me, and I've just completely fallen in love with this set. It's absolutely amazing. Mythic, no surprise here. Shattered Paths, just the status effect king, isn't it? So it just buffs your status effects through the roof. Let's have a look at the skills outside of Werewolf. We are running Shattering Rocks, it's a stun, it does flame damage, it heals you, and it also applies minor breach to the target. Rending Slashes, Dot, it also applies the Hemorrhaging status effect, which is really nice. You also reduce your target's movement speed by 30%. On top of that, it helps you proc your front bar enchantments. Molten Whip, we all know what this is. This is our spammable, it hurts a lot. Disintegrating Dragonfire, this is our way of applying Major Breach, and it's a pretty decent AoE dot. Incinerate, also a dot, and while slotted, you gain Major Prophecy and Savagery. We are running Pack Leader. The other morph is obviously also really fun, and let's be honest, it looks a lot cooler than Pack Leader, but Pack Leader is absolutely insane, and especially on this setup in particular, since we are a dragonknight class. I'll talk about it more in depth in a second, but essentially you gain Major Protection, which is fantastic, you gain block mitigation, as well as you and your group members gaining minor courage. You also get 2 Wolfies that does a decent amount of damage. It also gives you insane amounts of health recovery. So this morph is basically what gives us that crazy health recovery, which you were seeing on the screenshot. Backbar, I'm running Elemental Susceptibility. This applies Major Breach, we don't really care about that. What we care about is the Burning, Chilled, and Concussion status effects that it applies. Resolving Vigor, Hot, and also our way of obtaining Minor Resolve. Shattering Spike Mantle, this is our way of obtaining Major Resolve, and it's also a decent AoE dot. Igneous Weapon, this is our way of obtaining Brutality and Sorcery. Additionally, it also gives us a little bit of flame damage on our light and heavy attacks, which is very nice. Blood of the Elder Dragon, Burst Heal, gives us Major Fortitude, minor Courage. On top of that, it also increases our weapon and spell damage. Backbar Ultimate, I'm just running Temporal Guard for the minor protection, but you can run whatever you like. And if you're wondering, this build is doing pretty decent damage outside of Werewolf, although obviously Werewolf is what we care about. But if you're wondering, it actually does decent damage outside of Werewolf as well. Werewolf skills, I'm running Feral Pound. Jesus, I can't talk. Feral Pounce does decent bleed damage and also applies the Hemorrhaging status effect. It's also a dot that hurts really stinking hard. It also helps us triggering Fury generation. On top of that, it gives us a little bit of resources back. Blood Claws, this is a AoE dot, which does a lot of damage. On top of that, it heals you for 45% of the damage on the initial hit, and the heal scale of your max health, which again is why we have all our attributes into health. On top of that, it has a 15% chance of applying Sundered, which is fantastic. Rip and Tear, this is our spammable, it applies Major Breach, does a lot of damage, it heals you, and again heals based off your maximum health. It also increases the initial damage and healing done by 25%, which is very juicy indeed. Ferocious Roar, this is a fear ability, which also setting our enemies off balance. It also gives you and your group members Major Courage, which is great. On top of that, it also gives you access to, or gives you and your group access to the Feeding Frenzy synergy, which essentially is increasing your damage done by 6% and minor force for 30 seconds. And while slotted, you gain Major Prophecy and Savagery, which is fantastic. Hurricane's Fortitude, this is our burst heal, essentially. and while slotted you gain major vitality and sorcery as well as vitality. And this skill is absolutely absurd. I mean, if you run out of stamina, you just click this ability once and your stam pool is basically filled up again. So let's talk about why I have picked Dragonknight. And I feel the passives to Dragonknight just synergizes so well with Werewolf. You get healing taken. It also increases the chances of applying burning, even in Werewolf form. This is why we are running flame damage on our front bar. On top of that, your burning deals a lot more damage, which is obviously welcome. And when you apply the burning status effect, you restore resources, which is really, really nice. You also get a flat 10% mitigation when you block, which again adds on top of the mitigation you get for blocking in when you are in pack leader form. So basically you are so tanky on this setup, and you just have endless amounts of pressure. You also get a flat damage increase to your damage over time effects, which is absolutely fantastic. On top of that, you have landslide, which also buffs your damage done. We are also running the masteries, which are buffing landslide, which is really, really, really strong. On top of that, we are running resolute defense, which again gives us even more mitigation while blocking. And blocking damage has a 20% chance of restoring 500 stamina. So as you can see, every passive, skill, gear, everything just synergizes very well with each other. So this build is super fun, super tanky, endless amounts of resources, endless amounts of pressure. So it's very, very, very nice. Blue CP, I'm running Focus Mending and Cleansing Revival. And basically these two I run pretty much on any build at the moment, especially Cleansing Revival is so useful because you have so much pressure going on in PvP at the moment. I'm running Force of Nature for the pen, and I'm running Thaumaturge. And this is just hands down one of the best things you can run on this build in particular, because you get 6% damage done to all of your damage over time effects, which essentially are your status effects. On top of that, you get the, like I said, the 7% buff on top of that again. So again, your pressure is absolutely absurd. Red CP is a little bit different from what we usually run. I'm running Fortified for the armor, Pain's Refuge, Survival Instincts, and then I'm running Strategic Reserve. This thing is really, really great on this build in particular, because essentially you gain a lot of health recovery based on the ultimate you have. So again, it stacks on top of the health recovery that you get from pack leader. So essentially you are just unkillable and yeah, does endless amounts of damage. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. Hope you guys liked it and have a great day.